I love your Canadian accent. It's awesome.
It was officially Caitlin Clark Mania in Toronto, and yes, that's exactly how you pronounce it. Caitlin and the Fever were making their first trip to the Great White North, and the excitement was impossible to miss. Fans lined up for kilometers outside Scotiabank Arena, the home of the Raptors. I believe this was the 21st time a team had upgraded its arena because of Caitlin Clark. And before what would become a record-setting night, the Fever players were enjoying their Canadian experience. Caitlin, Sophie, and Lexi started by trying some classic Canadian snacks. Personally, I probably would have chosen a crispy crunch and a Mott's clamato. While Sophie seemed happy to embrace Canadian food, the Canadian fans weren't quite as welcoming toward her. They gave her plenty of attention, and the way Sophie responded was absolutely perfect. Just wait until you see it. But before the physical intensity on the court began, there was a genuinely warm moment during the media session. Caitlin was asked about her legacy and the impact she's having, and honestly, everyone who doubts the Caitlin Clark phenomenon should have been paying attention.
About your own legacy, and when people use the words like Caitlin Clark effect, what do you want that to mean when people think back on your legacy as a player?
Yeah, I mean, like, I hope at the end of the day, like, a lot of my favorite players growing up, like, I don't know how many points they ever ended up scoring, or I don't know how many three-pointers they made. Hopefully it's just the impact that you can leave on people and the way you made them feel, and I think that's kind of been the story of my career, and I hope, you know, when I'm done playing one day, that's what people remember the most about me, is the way I've been able to unite people to cheer on basketball and love a game, or bring people together to, you know, love a sport in a way that they've maybe never have before. Like, there's so many people that have come up to me and been like, I've never watched women's basketball before, and I don't take offense to that. Like, I think that's a really cool thing to, you know, bring people in that have maybe never experienced something that I've loved all my life, and so I hope, you know, when I'm done, that's probably the biggest thing that I'll probably look back on my career and be proud of, is just the amount of people that I've been able to bring in and enjoy the game that I've always loved since I was a young kid.
Her approach was simple. Welcome new fans instead of being upset that they weren't watching from the beginning. Who knew growing the game could be that straightforward? Caitlin clearly understands how powerful that can be. The Fever's previous game against the Dream attracted a record 2.6 million viewers on ESPN, with the audience reportedly peaking around 4 million. That meant a massive audience witnessed Angel Reese miss that late tap-in. Ouch. With another huge crowd expected for this matchup, fans were ready for what looked like it could become a complete battle. The Fever entered the game riding a 4-game winning streak and pushing toward the 3rd seed. Caitlin had also been playing at an incredible level, recently earning her 4th Player of the Week award of the season, more than any other player. Like the video and drop an MVP in the comments to congratulate her. Kelsey Mitchell was also scorching hot. Even though she needed Angel Reese's late miss in the previous game to force overtime and reach 20 points for the 19th consecutive game, she continued producing at an unbelievable level. KK was starting once again, and the Fever were 5-0 when she did. Meanwhile, the Tempo entered the matchup near the bottom of the WNBA standings with a rough 10-23 record. But with Brittany Sykes returning after an 18-game absence and Marina Mabrey also in the lineup, anything could happen. And sure enough, the game delivered plenty of fireworks. The Fever came out attacking immediately. Aaliyah Boston found Kelsey with a beautiful pass. Then Caitlin delivered a perfect feed to Kelsey. Clark followed that up by creating her own shot for her first basket of the night, before finding Lexi Hull for another score and 4 early points. Maybe the energy was coming from those ketchup chips. Either way, Indiana quickly jumped ahead 12-4, and it looked like a blowout could be coming. Kelsey then took things to another level, knocking down a 3 to make it 16-4. But Toronto finally started hitting shots, and the home crowd began getting louder. Those cheers quickly turned into boos when Sophie Cunningham checked into the game.
Scan the QR code and subscribe today for just $14.99 a month.
But instead of letting the crowd bother her, Sophie answered by knocking down a 3 and giving the Toronto fans a little Labatt Blues of their own. Still, the biggest story of the opening quarter was Kelsey Mitchell scoring 16 points. Then, early in the second, the game appeared to be slipping completely away from Toronto. Caitlin connected on a step-back 3, and after Aaliyah Boston delivered the message, she was rewarded with another beautiful pass from Clark. Kelsey Mitchell then showed exactly how to finish a fast break. Caitlin absorbed contact and still converted the shot, and suddenly Indiana was ahead 48-32. It looked like the game was finished. But Toronto refused to go away. slowly fighting its way back into the contest. Then things became even more heated. Early in the third quarter, Kelsey Mitchell got into a confrontation with, of all people, Marina Mabrey. That's not something you see from Kelsey very often, and her reaction made it clear she wasn't going to back down. Marina didn't seem interested in pushing the situation any further, but the moment only seemed to motivate Kelsey. Caitlin then knocked down 2 important threes to stop Toronto's momentum, including one where she had enough time to make a quick stop at Tim Hortons for a double-double. Mitchell took over again, hitting one shot after another, and finishing the third quarter with 29 points. That marked her 20th consecutive game with at least 20 points, tying a WNBA record. Indiana certainly needed that production because Caitlin was struggling with turnovers, while Lexi was missing some open three-point opportunities. Then came the surprising decision. Kelsey didn't play at all during the fourth quarter. Toronto stayed within striking distance and continued cutting into the Fever's lead. It appeared Indiana might finally put the game away when Sophie Cunningham hit a 3 to push the lead back to 10 late in the fourth. But Marina Mabrey immediately answered with back-to-back threes, cutting the deficit to just 4. Fortunately for Indiana, Toronto went cold after that, and the Fever managed to escape with a 101-95 victory. It wasn't the cleanest win, but it showed just how dangerous Indiana's offense can be when the team needs big plays. Caitlin finished with 24 points and 7 assists. The turnovers weren't ideal and it wasn't her best overall performance, but her scoring production remained at an MVP-level pace. She also became the fastest point guard in WNBA history to reach 700 points in a season. Kelsey, despite sitting out the entire fourth quarter, still finished with an incredible 29 points. And that wasn't the only record. Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell had now each scored at least 20 points in the same game 16 times during the season, setting a new single-season record for a duo. And I want to finish with Sophie Cunningham because she received plenty of criticism from the Toronto crowd, yet her shooting helped her move into the league lead in three-point percentage. If you want to see a perfect example of handling a tough crowd, listen to how Sophie responded afterward.
Got booed a little bit tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
I was kidding, I know. But you know what? I will tell you, I want to shout out the Tempo crowd in the city. I think we've had so much fun. It's my first time being in Canada. It's a lot of our first times being in Canada. But the crowd was absolutely amazing. And, you know, I think that's what sports is all about. You're going to get boos, you're going to get cheers. But just the fact that they're so passionate, they're loud, and they're putting on for the city, I think it's amazing. So shout out to you guys for coming out and supporting.
The most impressive part of Sophie's response was that she never allowed the crowd to change her attitude. She did not ask for anyone to be removed, and she did not spend the night calling the fans disrespectful. She simply accepted the reaction, stayed focused on basketball, and answered with her performance. That is exactly how competitive sports are supposed to work. Fans are allowed to boo, players are allowed to respond through their play, and Sophie made sure she had the final word. Her shooting helped Indiana survive a difficult road game, while her confidence stood out even when the Toronto crowd was against her. The Fever walked away with a 101-95 win, and Sophie walked away knowing she had handled the pressure without letting it become a distraction. Toronto fans may not have enjoyed the result, but the atmosphere made the game even more entertaining. In the end, Indiana showed that it can win even when everything does not go perfectly. Caitlin delivered another major scoring performance, Kelsey continued her historic run, and Sophie provided one of the biggest moments away from the scoreboard. It was another night that showed why the Fever continued to attract so much attention across the WNBA. If you stayed until the end, leave a trophy in the comments because you made it through the entire story. Thanks for watching.